This week's Parsha, we learn about the story of Noach and the flood, and the fact that Noach had to build his ark in order to save his family from the destruction of the flood. We've just completed the cycle of holidays that began with Rosh Hashanah, and it's interesting that in the centerpiece of the Rosh Hashanah service, we quote the story of Noach, and specifically the pasuk, the verse that says that God remembered Noach and his family and rescued them from the flood. And what's really interesting to note is from all the stories of people being saved throughout the ages, why was the story of Noach and his generation selected to emphasize that God saved people from the flood? And what is the deeper message to us? Now, it's very interesting in our times, we feel this as well. There's this, what's called in Jewish tradition, the Midas Hadin, the characteristic of judgment, meaning sometimes we don't necessarily feel the compassion. We turn on the news and we see all sorts of difficult stories and acts of terrorism and all sorts of other stories of anguish. And this is what we refer to as God's judgment in the world. Many times we don't understand it. And the most extreme version of God's judgment to date has been the destruction of the world vis-a-vis the flood in the times of Noah. Because in fact, in that time, the entire world was destroyed by the flood. Only 8 people, Noah and his family, were saved at that time by entering the ark. So what we say to God is, in our times of judgment, let us recall, or please God, recall the story of Noah. And despite the judgment that was going on then, and yet you somehow managed to find compassion in the sea of judgment, please find compassion for us as well. And I think that's a very important message that we have to take in mind. Despite the sea of judgment that we find ourselves in, sometimes there's lots of difficult news. We want to emulate the path of Noach and emulate his path forward to find compassion in that time. Folks, as we turn around, we always seem to be confronted by difficult stories and tragic news. And this is, as I mentioned, the sea of judgment, the Midas Hadin. Let us remember the Midah of Noach, the character of Noach, and let us always ask God to remember us favorably, just as he remembered Noah. Have a wonderful Shabbos.